everyone. Welcome back to the Speak Up Erika podcast. And here we have part 2 with Chantelle. And Chantelle will be talking about...
We are going to be talking.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about how we can make a positive impact in our community by being a little bit more mindful with our time.
Nice. Yes. Awesome.
Exciting. I'm excited because the last time when we spoke,
Yeah.
we were talking about using your time mindfully to reduce your impact. And this part is very similar. I think you can imagine we're essentially just going to be doing a lot of the opposite of what we were saying before.
Okay.
So just as a recap,
yes,
in ways to reduce your negative impact, we are going to stop focusing on a lot of the problems and the depressing stuff, and we're going to focus on skill learning and looking for solutions. We're going to stop purchasing and really acknowledge what we really need. And we're going to stop wasting and spend a little bit more time figuring out how we can divert our waste as effectively as possible. So in increasing your impact, which is, I think, really important, because we always talk about how you can save the planet, and it's usually about reducing your intake of certain things or reducing your transportation or just doing things a little bit differently. But I have the most fun in creating a positive impact within your community. And I think that, that's what Locals Fest was all about too. It was really about bringing people together and learning how to support one another and figuring out how we can come together as a community.
Exactly.
And one of the big things when I left my job back in December, one of the things that I truly acknowledged was that whatever I do in my life, I want to make sure that I'm making a positive impact. And I truly, truly believe that everyone has that choice to make a negative impact or a positive impact. And it doesn't necessarily mean that every choice you make is either going to be good or bad. It just means that there is going to be an opportunity to make the best impact or to damage a little bit, you know? So it's really up to you how you want to do it. And if you are finding that it's really hard for you to reduce your impact, then maybe you just got to really amp up how much positive work you're putting into your community and really amp up how much positive energy you're bringing to even your network, like even just your friends, you know, because that's super important. So the first thing about increasing your impact, which relates to that, is to talk about solutions, is to really start looking within your community. And if you notice that something is wrong, how can you talk about the solutions with the people that can make it happen?
Nice.
So we do not use our voice. We are very muted. And I find in Halton in particular, we're quite scared maybe to stand up for what we believe in. And I love all of these movements lately that have been happening. Thank you, Greta, for letting students come out of school to protest. Thank you to all of these movements that have made people come out into the streets and really learn that they can speak up, which is what your podcast is all about, speaking up. And I think it's really important that right now we see solutions all around the world. We are so creative. We know how to make something more efficient. We need to talk about it. We need to talk about how we can make businesses more efficient. We need to talk about how, you know, we can help the people who are struggling to find homes or food or whatever. We need to really hone in on bringing those resources together and bringing these ideas to life. And the best way to do that is to talk about them. I've had so many ideas that working in the nonprofit industry, it's very competitive.
Oh, interesting.
You're applying for funding that basically every other organization is applying for as well. You have to really prove your worth. You have to really,
I remember you talking about this.
Demonstrate how valuable your services are. And I found that when organizations had an idea, they weren't as quick to collaborate. They wanted sort of to keep the idea to themselves so that they could be the ambassador of that program. They could be the person who was bringing in this brand new program, this change, this whatever.
Yeah.
And I can't stand for that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we are so duplicated in our efforts that one person will be doing something and the other person will be doing essentially maybe the same thing, but they're not connecting with one another. So we need to talk about ideas. And it made me learn that I have these ideas. The more I talk about them, the more momentum they get.
Yes.
The more people will say, oh, you should talk to this person. You should connect with this organization. Oh, by the way, this business is doing something similar. So when we talk about it, it makes it come to life. So I just encourage you guys, you might see so many solutions on Instagram, you know, National Geographic, whatever you're watching, you're watching that's pointing out these new systems to be a more efficient and resilient community. Talk about it. Talk about it with your friends. Talk about it with your employers. Talk about it with whoever you can, because we need to fill the air with more positive solutions that we can actually take action on.
Agreed, yeah.
So your first step is just brainstorming out loud and maybe even writing it down. Maybe even, you know, setting up a little group. Maybe it's talking about those solutions with your city council. Or coming to a board of directors for certain organizations and bringing them ideas. Yeah. Community input is so needed. And I think that conversation needs to happen a lot more.
I remember you talking about that, like, we're paying these taxes and we actually have the voice to, like, do something because it's our money, right? Of course. But not a lot of people, I guess, realize that 100%. And know that it's our voice to make the difference.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think, like, I mean, we support these businesses, and in the next point, too, we'll talk about this, too, but, I mean, if you're going to a certain grocery store and there's something that you feel could be improved, talk about it. Yeah. Don't just mutter it under your breath and under your mask. Yeah. You're just like, you know, no one can see you freaking out over the ice cream aisle. But it's just, you really do need to be able to approach them, not to shout at them, not yelling at the cashier. That's never how you figure it out. But how to approach a manager, how to approach an organization to say, hey, by the way, I visited your store. I really love what you do. But do you think that you guys could look into compostable packaging? Nice. Yes. Easy as that. If we have 10 people walking into that restaurant over the course of a month asking for compostable packaging, that server or whoever is there is going to say, hey, wait a second, like, this is where it's going. Yes. So we need to speak up. We really need to talk about those positive things. Don't shut them down and say, ew, you're using styrofoam. We hate these people. Cancel culture. Cancel culture. Yeah. Whoa, we gotta give people room to grow. And I get it. There are some things that it's harder. It's harder to forgive. It's harder to accept. But we really do need to help these organizations and businesses thrive in the right direction. In the right direction, and not at the cost of anyone's happiness or whatever, but just so that they can be directed and given a platform to change. Yeah, I think maybe one of the biggest issues, like, coming from a background of communications, not everyone knows how to communicate properly, or, like, you saying that, like, a company that you're working with, they kind of want to be that ambassador, right? Like, they're trying to be greedy, I guess. So, like trying to, I think some people don't have that courage to speak to the grocery store and be like, hey, I saw this and this and I want this change. For sure. So I think that, I don't know how that would, I guess, going to the root of the problem or the root of the cause of like giving people that courage to say something, right? And I'm sure that we all have that friend that is really great at writing letters. We all have that friend who's really good at like approaching people or talking to people. Not to say to always go to them. Yes. But again, we were talking about skills last time. Yeah. Public speaking and those communication, even just having like a template for a letter that you could just send out to the people that you feel would benefit from an idea or a suggestion. And again, it's coming from a place of love. We're not talking about coming from a place of fear or intimidation. We're coming from a place where it's like, hey, I really want to support your business. I've done this so many times. Awesome, I think my first one was to like it was like a granola bar company. Yeah. And I was first going into my zero waste sort of phase. Yeah. And I wrote them an email. Yeah. And I was like, guys, I love your bars because they're vegan and they're so great and they're all sustainably sourced and it's so, so good. But the packaging. And then they wrote back and they're like, there are no other options. Like we can't do anything. But that first attempt in just voicing it, like makes like you might get shot down. Mm-hmm. Like, why are we scared of rejection? Mm-hmm. Like, we're simply just voicing. We're voicing and we're learning how to use our voice, and to say it from a place of love and to say it from a place of constructive criticism, even if you get shot down, you're still going to be able to speak your piece. Mm-hmm. So I really encourage people to do that for anything. Yes. For anything. Yeah. Environment, people, animals, whatever.
Yeah. It's the fear, right? That plays into place. Right.
Well, write an email. Yeah. You know, you're behind your screen. Write it nicely, and it doesn't mean to troll anyone. It should be a cyberbully. Exactly. But it means that you can spend time, you can write it, you can read it out, you can do whatever you need to do, but then you can send it to the appropriate person. Yeah. You know, there's always that, give us feedback or whatever.
It's true.
So
I was talking to someone, and they were saying that speaking up is a muscle, and that you kind of just have to keep practicing it. Like, for me, the whole podcast, like, speak up, right? It's not that I'm speaking up all the time. It's like a progressive thing, and I'm still learning, as everyone is, right? Exactly. But it is a muscle. Like, you kind of have to do it, work out one day. Maybe today's not the best day, and your muscles are sore, but then try again and just keep doing it until you're better.
And it doesn't mean you're nonstop talking. You still gotta observe. Sure. You still gotta, listen, see what's going on. Exactly. But it does just mean that when you see something where you feel that you can contribute positively to it, speak up. Yeah. Say it. When your friends are bashing certain initiatives, whatever, speak up and say, hey, so then what's the alternative here? Nice. How do we get a solution? Because I'm so tired. I'm so tired of people giving me this, like, depressing or, whatever else it is. Like, let's talk solutions then. Nice. How do we address this problem, and how can you take action to do that?
Exactly. Yeah.
So that is our first point on increasing positive impact. Great I'm going to try to do better with actually, like, going through the points in order instead of just a huge mashup of sustainability talk. But the next point is something that we were talking about earlier with the businesses that you want to support. Yeah. And if you are going to be purchasing something, if you are going to be spending your time working to save up your money to purchase something, can we spend a little bit more time researching and finding the best place to buy these goods? Nice. Yeah. So I know that there is so much controversy with the certifications. I know that people, see something that says organic and they doubt it. They see something that says fair trade, they might doubt it. Yeah. There are so many things that can be addressed within how things are extracted and processed, distributed, and all those stages of production. Yeah. There's so much to consider. But if we can really focus on supporting local and investing in quality goods, and looking out for the smaller businesses, then I think that we can make a significant difference in collective consumption, but then also in our local economy, because now more than ever, and our friend Dougie was saying too that we should be supporting local, look for things that are made in Canada and look for things that are produced here. And that's probably the smartest thing I've ever heard him say. That shift in mentality can be applied to everything because we grow a lot of food here. Yeah. So when you go to the grocery store, can you find things that are grown in Ontario? Nice. Can you find a local farmer's market? Can you find a local farmer that you could even do a CSA from? So a community shared agriculture. Oh, wow. So getting a box of food from a farmer on a weekly subscription. Oh. So you're pre-investing in that farmer, right, and then allowing that produce to come to you throughout the growing season.
Is that available for most farms?
They have a lot. There are, and you can find them by simply searching CSA Ontario or near me. So community shared agriculture is essentially before the growing season. You find a farm that you want to support. You are able to sign up for this regular subscription. So that gives those farmers the money beforehand, because you got to think about it. They have to literally depend on the market. Yeah. Just in that short growing period for them to make ends meet. So if they're not making a paycheck all winter and they are waiting for that really good day at the market, we really got to help out our local farmers. And a CSA is just a way to say, I'm going to invest in your farm, and whatever you grow, you're going to share it with us. So it's almost like you're contributing to the success of that farm. And that makes me feel so good.
That's amazing.
Like, it makes me feel really happy when you can really put your money into your community. Yeah. So things like that is what I really look for when you are purchasing things, food especially. If we can purchase more local food, we grow so much in Ontario. We grow so much. And I was actually just talking about this with someone who had no idea, you know, of the multitude of different types of vegetables and fruits and things that we can grow here. Yet we're still importing apples from Spain. Like, get out of here. No offense to you Spanish apples, but like we gotta focus too on being able to feed our own communities so that they can feed their own communities as well. Like, we're importing so much food, but we're wasting 60% of it. Right. So if we can at least purchase it from here, then it's helping to generate that a little bit more. And the same thing goes with like clothing, with arts, with like gifts, with whatever you're doing. Like, there are so many local artists, and like I literally just picked, I know it's a podcast so you can't see, but like these handmade artists, like they are so plentiful here. We have such a creative community. So when you are looking for gifts, when you are looking for things that are not necessarily necessities, you can find so much with the local community here, and you're supporting your neighbor, you're supporting someone down the street. So I think that's super important in creating a positive impact, because you're reducing the travel time, you're reducing whatever else if it's going to be imported from around the world, but then you're also giving back to your local community.
I think again, with like trying to find the resources and find like, oh, who do I know that's local, or who knows who that's local? Exactly. But I think like going back to Locals Festival as well, maybe like one of the things I envision is like when we create our website to maybe have some type of way to search for locals, right? So I don't know, but definitely I think Instagram is one of the best ways lately that we've been supporting local businesses, because people just share and post their business there, right?
And I think it's honestly like in a day and age, so okay, you could literally go onto your phone right now and search pizza near me, and you're going to find however many pizza stores are around you, right? Yeah. So if you could simply just go onto your phone and say farmer's market near me, you're going to find it. Yeah. If you find, you know, whatever, local artisans or local craft markets or whatever else it is, like they are happening and they are findable. Yes. But you just need to take that time to say, hey, okay, I'm going to not go to the grocery store right now because I know that there's a farmer's market tomorrow. Nice. So we'll save everything for tomorrow's purchase. Yeah. Done. Like, I think it's hard to justify not being aware of all the services that are around us these days, because we are consistently on our phones. Yes. We know we can find out what's happening.
It's true. Like during quarantine, I wanted to get some new candles, and of course, Bath and Body Works is like the place that people think about, but the chemicals that you burn, it's not as sustainable, right? So then I was searching up like local soy candles in Toronto, blah blah, and I was able to find a couple of places in Canada.
For sure. Yeah, and like even like my friend makes beeswax candles. Yeah, and it's like I don't know, when you think about before, I think you kind of just like go to the store, you see a pack of candles, you don't know where they come from, what's in them, you bring them home. But to know that my friend makes these beautiful candles from scratch, like, you know, with her hands, I'm like, I'm gonna buy those instead. Exactly. Because why not? You know, like this is a more positive way that I can spend my money.
Exactly.
And I really like spending with compassion. Like I like spending knowing that whatever I'm able to contribute, it can help someone. So
awesome.
So that is our second point in being a little bit more mindful, and that also relates to like social enterprises and cooperatives and credit unions and things like that. Yeah, we were talking about earlier. So changing that conventional economics into going to a new business model. Yeah, and that's happening too, which is really exciting. So I love seeing all these social enterprises. I love seeing when you're purchasing something that makes a positive impact. There's so many examples of this, even like 10 Tree, right? Yes, so buying a sweater that's going to plant trees. Yes. Come on, how do you go wrong with that?
Yeah. Or right? Like Pila cases.
Exactly, right? Yeah. Tom's shoes, they did it too.
Yeah, like, buy one, give one, right?
Yeah, so there's so many. And do your research, because obviously there's always something going on in the world. Yeah. But I mean, there are those companies that do have those initiatives and those goals. Oh yeah, which I really like. Yeah. Are you ready for the third and final point?
I am. I'm so ready.
Okay, so in talking about how you can mindfully spend your time making a positive impact, the most natural thing that you can do is physically spend your energy restoring the environment. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is really important because a lot of people, of course, are really quick to want to volunteer maybe with a local environmental organization. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe you're looking for like a tree planting, maybe you're looking for a garbage pickup, maybe you're looking for all these different things. You can look for organizations that do this, but you can also do it yourself.
Okay,
it's so nice to even just start a little garden at your house. Mm. You know, you get a garbage bag with some plastic gloves and you can go and do a garbage cleanup on your own. I hate the garbage cleanup. I hate thinking that we should be picking up after other people, but I also despise going out into nature and seeing all of the garbage everywhere. So I've been one to just get a bag. You just get a bag and gloves and you go for a walk and you pick up some garbage.
Why does it happen? Like, is it just people just keep littering? Is that or I know garbage day, sometimes it's windy. Is a big one. Yeah. And it flies around everywhere.
That's a big one. I think there's laziness. Mm-hmm. I think there's a certain amount of laziness. Mm-hmm. I think that there's a certain expectation of having enough garbage cans everywhere so that when you're walking down a path, you can throw it out at any time, or throw out whatever you have at any time. But then, like, how many garbage cans do you want to see in a park? And how many, also too, in the logical sense of things, like, it costs money to have a garbage can, right? Because you have to continuously change it, maintenance, all that sort of stuff, right?
Interesting, yeah.
So, like the city, it's not in the city's best interest to put garbage cans everywhere. Plus, it doesn't look good having garbage cans everywhere. I think it comes down to laziness, laziness or accident, like by accident, you know, like the garbage cans you were saying. Yeah. But it does take a certain type of person to think that the world is their trash can. Yes. And if that type of person is listening right now, I just want you to know that your mother's not going to be around to pick up things for you all the time and clean up after you. And it's a really jerk thing to do, to throw things out your window or to, go down the street and trash something. Like there's a bit of common courtesy and a little bit of respect and maybe even a sense of pride that people need to take on to really take care. And that's not just about the garbage. A sense of pride to really take care of your community, to take care of your local environment. So, treat it as your house. Would you trash your house? No.
Hopefully
I mean, and if you're that type of person listening, please just shut your computer off right now. There is no hope for you. No. But it is that sense of like I don't see it as being separate from my home when I walk out into the middle of the forest. I know that's going to be like the hippiest thing you're going to hear today, but
it should be the mentality. But
it's true. Like, I mean, why is it different? You know, why is it different? Just because I don't own that land, just because I don't have a house there, doesn't mean that I'm not going to take care of it.
Yeah.
So I just think that there's a lot that we can do to help clean up what humans have done, because we're disgusting and we apparently can't keep clean up after ourselves, because it's so difficult. It really, really is truly difficult. Yeah. But we can also physically spend our time restoring what we've damaged by, you know, creating more healthy ecosystems, creating more habitats for animals, creating more positive spaces for even just people to enjoy. Like, it's not just about, again, it's not just about the environment. We're talking about our health and our money.
Yes.
So when our tax dollars are going to be spent because people can't...
littering.
Yeah. So we have to spend now extra money because people, you know, we need extra cleanup or whatever else it is. Mm-hmm. That's where we rely on the nonprofit organizations to do these pickups for free, which is not the answer. We don't necessarily understand that that's taking away from maybe a park or other services that are needed in the community. Mm-hmm. So if we can really just think of ways that you can just restore. Think of that word, restoration.
Yeah.
How do you bring more life, bring more diversity, bring more plants, whatever it is, into a space to restore it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the things that COVID really brought up, because everyone started gardening.
Yes.
It was the most Googled word is how to grow your own food, how to garden, how to do these things.
Yeah.
And it's so true, because we have that time.
Yes.
We have the space. Don't get me started about how much space we have with our lawns and our backyards and with all that sort of stuff. But if we can increase the biodiversity and get more native plants and get more natural habitats, we're doing so much good for the planet.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think going back to like speaking up and with littering, I would have friends that would just litter, and then I would get angry, be like, well, why do you have to do that? And I would have to pick up their garbage, right? But then I guess it's like changing the conversation and not getting angry at them and just being like, hey, why did you do that?
Right.
And like trying to make a more like, not to like badge,
not to belittle or
anything. But trying to change their perspective in a different way.
Exactly.
I guess.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think that it's really important to. I have so many friends now that have told me, you know, oh, I was smoking a cigarette and I was gonna throw it out, but then I thought of you, so I threw it out in the trash. And I was like, you are like, I hate to be that naggy friend in your head, but I'm also really glad that I'm that voice in your head saying, don't throw that cigarette butt on the ground. Because it's very,
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying, but I realize that you can get mad, but the approach that I sort of started taking to it was literally like, I don't hang out with these people anymore, but like, if you're listening, no, but you know, they would throw something on the ground, and without even a question, you sort of just like look at them like, really, dude? Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
And then to go and pick it up, it was almost like, at first I was like, no, because then that's enabling their behavior to do it. But then they started to just feel really bad. Like, wait a second, why is she going to pick it up now? And I'm going to pick it up because it's important to me. It's important to me to have a clean environment, not just for me, but for anyone that comes here. Yeah, so I'm going to put my pride away and pick up your trash. But hopefully you feel shitty enough to say, I'm not going to do that again. Or I don't want someone else to be picking up after me. I don't, trust me, I don't do that often. It's only for like the friends I know that would actually have a heart to say, wait a second, that's not right.
Yeah.
But there are enough people where it's just like, I don't know. There's I don't know what goes on to make you think that you can just kind of toss everything around. Yeah. But I'm sure that the environment is going to thrive and survive without us. So I try not to make my heart hurt too much about it. I kind of like, I know at the end of the day, in the whole bigger picture and the whole collective consciousness of this whole thing, we are totally coming together. We're totally awakening to this ascension. Like, we're awakening to knowing that we are better and we have so much potential as humans to do well in this world. So I kind of just have to say, okay, you know, that's what you want to do. That's great. This is what I can do to help the situation. And that's all I got.
Yeah.
Move on and try to just continue having that positive impact.
Yeah. So. It's funny that you talk about cigarette butts too, because I work at the restaurant industry, and in the mornings we have to sweep the patio and stuff like that. And the things that I'm sweeping up are just all cigarette butts. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and it just seems like such a normal thing to do now. Yeah. It's like, you have a cigarette butt, you just throw it wherever you want. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, I mean, I'm sure we've all been in those situations where, whatever, you're having a good time and whatever, and it kind of just happens. But that's where, again, that extra second to just be a little bit more mindful. Or maybe it's like a note on your cigarette pack that's like, don't litter or something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is to something be your trigger reminder. Yeah. I mean, aside from the fact that we need water to live and your cigarette butts are polluting the water, no big deal. It's okay. Don't worry about it. But if that could be your mental image, maybe that'll help. Yeah. But it is truly, it sucks, but I know it's going to be great. I know in the bottom of my heart that the environment is so much stronger and so much more significant than humans are. Yeah. That at the end of the day, it will continue to thrive and it will continue to recover. The difference between humans and the rest of the environment is that the environment adapts. Yeah. The environment evolves. Yeah. And I feel like humans are evolving, but we're not necessarily adapting in a way for us to survive. It's almost like we're adapting to be more successful. And I don't necessarily think that success will allow us to survive, really. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, we're sort of fighting for the wrong things. Right. So at the end of the day, that's where I feel like we need to use our potential for the greater good, to be more resilient, to be more self-sufficient. And that's happening. That's what I'm talking about, focusing on skills, because I'm seeing so many other people who are really honing in on that, learning how to build, learning how to grow, learning how to distill herbs, learning how to just be very creative, because in a time where those services are not going to be available, we have to rely on ourselves. Yeah. So I don't want to be doom and gloom. Yeah. I am the most optimistic realist you'll meet, but it is something where I think about that, like, definitely humans really need to step into their potential to do more than just succeed in life. It's about succeeding as a community and being a resilient community.
Yeah. I think that maybe one of the things is that they think, like, making this, I don't know, this sushi is hard at home, right? Or making, like, tortilla bread is hard. But it's actually, like, you search up a recipe on Google or do whatever, and it's, like, 3 easy steps. And you're like, oh, that's all that's all you needed to make this? Mix it in the pan. So I think maybe people just don't know that it's actually easy to do things for yourself. Yeah, for sure. Oh, awesome. So yeah, Chantelle, I guess before we wrap things up, can you tell us on ways to support you and the things that you're doing? And, like, maybe if we can follow you somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. So you are more than welcome to follow me on Instagram. My handle is Chantelle_Okel, which is Okel. I consistently post opportunities for people to get involved in local initiatives or just for your input on things that I'm involved with. Right now, one of the most important projects I'm working on is with the Halton Food Council, which is a nonprofit organization that's working in promoting and creating sustainable local food systems throughout the Halton region. So we are looking for more input from the local community on how to better equip the region with a food strategy. If that is something that you are interested in, you are more than welcome to reach out. That is something that I am super proud of and what I am hoping to be working on in the next little while. In other ways, though, if you are interested in learning a little bit more about how you can become more sustainable while also integrating healthy habits, mindful habits, things for you to live a more compassionate and purposeful life. I am starting as a holistic lifestyle coach, and I would love to have a consultation with any of the listeners who are vibing with what I'm saying and who would like to learn a little bit more about how to do that within their own lives and specify it to their own lives. So definitely follow me on Instagram, and if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to shoot me a message. I'd love to talk to you.
Yay! Awesome! Thank you so much, Chantelle. I think like everything we talked about has been so valuable and like honestly really eye-opening. Like I love learning about sustainability and like how to just be a better person for like the world and the environment, right? But the things that you brought up, I think is something that I actually never considered or like thought about.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for having me, and then also for Locals Fest. And I think if you missed that, definitely check out the different segments that were on that, because there were some really cool people, and it all comes together with what the whole point of this is to make a positive impact in your community. So I'm super grateful that I was able to come and talk to you a little bit more, because I had so much fun at Locals Fest, and would love to, keep listening.
Awesome. Thank you, Chantelle. Bye everyone. Thank you so much for listening.
See ya.